Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, we're so excited that you're here. Dr. Rappy is going to do an entire presentation on the top men's health concerns. So thank you so much for joining us. This is important information to share with your loved ones. So Dr. Rappy, let's go for it.
Welcome, everybody. So today we're going to talk about men's health concerns. Just know this, that if you don't fit all of the health concerns on here, that's okay. One thing might be a benefit to you. If you learn one thing today that can benefit you moving forward, that's all that matters. Education is important, but knowledge is powerful. But we all know that knowledge is only powerful if we apply it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a bunch of different facts and information, and it's going to be fantastic. You're going to learn a lot. So again, welcome everybody. So today's class agenda, let's talk about that. So we're going to talk about heart health, cardiovascular disease, managing stress and well-being, which is a challenge for all of us, hormones imbalances and testosterone, another challenge for us men. You know, it's fascinating. You hear a lot about women and menopause, but we rarely hear about men and andropause. That's what it is for men. It's called andropause, and that regards to our hormones, testosterone being low and so on and so forth. So hormone balance is really important. And at our age, just turned 64, we're going to have some issues that we need to keep in balance as much as possible. Also, exercise and fitness for men is really important. It is a much bigger piece to the puzzle than people let on. I'm an exercise fanatic, and actually the only thing that keeps me from working out twice a day is that I have little injuries. So when I have my little injuries, do I stop exercising? Of course not. I work around them. It's the problem is that people get a little injury, they stop completely working out, and 4 months later, they finally go, okay, I'm going to start again. And it's just a real challenge. So we're going to talk about exercise and fitness and how important it is to men. Prostate health. This is huge. A large percentage of men out there have issues with their prostate. Prostatic hypertrophy. It's called BHP, benign prostatic hypertrophy. It's very common. And so we're going to talk a little bit about prostate health. Again, I deal with that as well. So I'm just like the rest of you guys. Don't think I'm superhuman. I'm not. I take care of myself and I do all the things that I teach you to do. And it would be really hypocritical of me to preach to you on do this, this, and this, but I don't do it myself, right? So I lead by example, and I think that's really important. Digestive health and brain gut connection is big. We all know that this is connected to this down here. We see it in practice all the time. Lori and I are constantly seeing this connection between these two. It's not something that's addressed in the medical model, and it's a really big part of what we do with our programs. And many times we customize specifically, people will come in and we customize the program to specifically get these two interacting, communicating, and doing their thing together synergistically so we can achieve optimum health. Sleep is big. We're going to talk about that. And then, of course, nutrition, and something that most men have never learned about. They're not sure how do they feel about it, but self-care. Again, I just turned 64. So I was raised in a time when it was suck it up, buttercup. You know, my grandfather used to say, I'll give you something to cry about, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we were never really taught or learned how to express our emotions and our feelings and how to relate those emotions and feelings to what's happening in our life on a daily basis. So it's really important. We're going to go through that. Lori does an outstanding job. That's an area that she really is in charge of. She does an incredible job. So here we go. Let's go to the first slide. Let's start the class with a good quote. I love quotes, everybody. I love them. We can't always change what's happening on the around us, but we can change what's happening within us. So that's what's important. We don't have control over what's going on around us in many cases, but we have complete control over what's happening internally. Huge, huge, huge. Love that quote. So men's top health issues, we're going to talk about stress, prostate health, hormone and testosterone, heart disease, which is really big, digestive and health and brain gut connection, nutrition, sleep, self-care, exercise, and fitness. So let's go right into exercise and fitness. So probably the most important thing that I can tell anybody is you have to establish a daily routine, period. Okay. My daily routine is very specific. I get up about 4:30 every morning. I get up. I do have a cup of coffee. It's more of a tradition. It's more of just part of my process. I enjoy the smell and the taste, and I take my time, and that kind of gets me started in the morning. I don't use it as an energy boost. It has nothing to do with that. It's just part of my routine. Then I do what I call FOGA, which is functional yoga. Okay, that's my term, FOGA, functional yoga. And I'll start doing my functional yoga. I have a cat that comes over and lays next to me when I stretch, which also makes me feel loved, and it's just a wonderful feeling. You know, animals are amazing because there's unconditional love there, period. And so it's just a great vibe. Mr. B comes over to me every morning when I'm doing my stuff. And so you've got to establish a daily routine. And then once I've done my FOGA, if I'm lifting weights, I do my weight routine. If I'm not, I'm doing my martial arts. I do my martial arts routine, and I go through another step-by-step process. When I finish that, I do a cold plunge every morning. We're going to talk about cold plunge. I've been doing it for 6 months. I've missed one day, and it was only because the tub at the hotel I was staying at for a seminar was yucky. So fitness and exercise improves cardiovascular health. It's really important. It improves cardiovascular health. You don't have to go to the gym for 2 or 3 hours a day, but going for a brisk walk, walk fast, walk slow, do the HIIT, high intensity interval training while you walk. Healthy weight reduction risks. It's also beneficial for reducing our weight. As far as obesity, it's great for people that are diabetics because muscle activity is going to reduce what's called glucose, that's sugar, glucose that's stored in the muscles and in the liver as glycogen. It also, lifting weights or exercise, you don't have to lift weights. You can do body weight exercises, will improve muscle strength. We also get mental fitness out of it. Some of the exercises we teach in the program, it's not the exercise themselves, but it's the methodology that we're teaching that stimulates the frontal cortex and the hippocampus. Those are memory centers. Okay. And those, we want those to be as strong as possible. And so it's really important that we know that by doing daily exercise and have a daily routine, that it's going to strengthen those areas of our brain. It's going to improve mental health, supports hormone balances. So it keeps our hormones balanced because as we do specific exercise and certain fitness, it's going to stimulate hormone production, hormone use, hormone replacement, hormone transportation, and all of these things are involved. So it's really important. It also improves your sleep. If you exercise in the day and then you go about your day, and don't take a nap, you're going to sleep better at night. It does. Healing and recovery is important. So as I stress my body exercising, I need to make sure that I do all the other things necessary to make sure I heal properly, and I've got to have adequate time to recover. You know, I see a lot of golfers, and these guys will come in and they say, I golf 6 days a week. And I'm thinking to myself, I golfed a lot years ago, and I know what it's like, and I know how hard it can be on your body. It looks easy when you watch it on TV, but when you take part in it, it's challenging. It's a lot of physical activity involved there. And if you walk a course, even more so. But it's important to understand that we have to recover. So I don't advocate people golfing every day. I think it's worse for your game to golf every day. You got to recover. And that goes for any type of exercises. Exercise and fitness routines can also lower your risk of certain cancers, which is amazing. And exercise improves your overall longevity and the quality of life by reducing the risk of chronic diseases, improving your mobility, which is huge, and enhances your overall functional abilities. Flexibility and mobility are absolutely enormous. We want to maintain our flexibility and mobility as much as possible. And that's where my FOGA comes in. Once I started doing it years ago, I realized how much better I felt every day. And again, I don't miss. If we go on vacation, let's say we go on vacation, and I'll get up in the morning and everybody else is sleeping in, and I'll get a coffee and I go through my routine. I don't care if we're down at the beach. I don't care if we're up in the mountains. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do my routine regardless of where we are. I don't need anyone else's participation. I don't need any special equipment. It's really important to me, mentally and physically, that I don't miss. It's that important. Okay. So we want to make sure everybody establish a daily routine. It doesn't have to be extensive, but it's got to happen every day. So start with less and then you can build up. Mine has been established for a long time. And like I said, I never miss. Stress and mental health. Establish a daily routine again. This is really important. Mental health and stress. Stress can drive a lot of dysfunction in the body. There's a lot of research that shows that you can actually develop cancers because of stress. So we want to reduce our stress as much as possible. And again, what I do in the morning when I'm doing my FOGA, functional yoga, I usually have my earphones on and I'm listening to some meditation. So I'm doing a meditation at the same time. I have certain links that I use that have these brain waves music that plays back and forth, and it really sets me into a good place from a stress management standpoint. So as a functional medicine practitioner, look, I recognize the interconnectedness between mental, emotional, and physical health. They're all one. You're in a whole unit. You're not just one thing. So we all also, there's various factors such as nutritional deficiencies. We want to address those, gut health, inflammation, hormone imbalances, lifestyle choices. I'm not here to tell somebody you shouldn't drink alcohol, but we all know that it can have a detrimental effect if it's abused. Same thing with any of the other extracurricular activities that people are doing nowadays. Now that marijuana is legal in a lot of states, particularly in California, people are using it as a lifestyle choice as compared to drinking. So I'm not opposed to either or. I just don't want anybody to abuse them in such a way where they might have to go through a rehabilitation facility or something like that to get control of their life. If it's controlling you, you need to get control of it, bottom line. So treatment approaches that we use when it comes to stress and mental health is everything that we've talked about thus far. We want to use personalized dietary plans. I customize most dietary plans I work with individuals. We customize it based on their needs, wants, and desires because nobody's identical and nobody's the same. I have husbands and wives, a husband and wife, a couple, and I'll do different for each because their goals, desires, and their wants are completely different. So it's really important, dietary plans, targeting supplementation. When we give supplementation, it's specific to your blood labs. And that's another beautiful thing is when I work with somebody, I'm going to give supplements specific to their blood labs. Simple as that. It's not like, well, I've got 40 bottles of this sitting on the shelf. I'm just going to give it to everybody. If I don't believe you truly need it, I won't even recommend it. I have people come to me and say, hey, Dr. Rappy, should I take this? And I'll say, what for? And they'll give me all these lists. And then I'll say, well, where did this come up? How did this come up? Who brought your attention? Oh, my friend has taken it. I said, well, you and your friend are completely different human beings. They might need it and you might not. They might have low vitamin D and yours is normal because we've worked together and I made sure you were taking it based on your lab testing. So again, treatment approaches that we use in the office here are all customized. So if you're doing one of our programs, everything we do is customized to you specifically. Mental health is just huge. There's a lot of stress out there today. There's a lot of chaos in the country and everybody's aware of it. So it doesn't matter where you lie. We're all humans. We're all Americans and we should all stand together hand in hand. But mental health is a big issue. And so we want to make sure that we do everything we can to identify any dysfunction and how do we address the dysfunctions, whether it's hormones imbalances that can drive mental health issues like anxiety and depression, gut issues. We see a lot of people with gut issues and it contributes to their anxiety and it drives their depressive episodes. So it's really important. Also, we also want to identify the issues you're dealing with, mental issues that you may be dealing with, like anxiety, are they hormonal? Is there a hormonal component? Are they environmental? Which means, is there something that I'm being exposed to? Not outside environmental, but environment outside my body. It could be soap. Maybe my wife bought a new detergent because the one she normally uses was out of stock. And so she bought this new stuff. And all of a sudden I started having these itches. And so we have to look at the environmental causes, or what those are possibly. And then how are they all gut related, and along with some of the other stresses in life as well. We do see people who, an example would be, we're working with somebody. I have a gentleman, a number of them, but I'll use this as an example. He took care of his wife for a couple of years. She got sick with cancer, and he took care of her every day for a couple of years before she passed. That's a lot of stress for a long period of time. So we need to work with that individual to help them understand that those stresses are detrimental to your health. They have been detrimental to your health. How do we move past those, and also direct them to possibly joining a grieving group and learning how to grieve? A lot of us don't do those kind of things. Again, at my age, in the group category, in my group, my age group, we weren't taught that kind of stuff. We were taught to just move past it, push it down, suppress it. So we need to learn how to deal with these types of stresses. We want to identify the imbalances and minimize or alleviate symptoms. We also recommend to reduce your risk, which may include the recommendations that we provide to people. Might be supplements. We do have supplements that can help with people who have anxiety and who have stress and who have depression. Nutritional support, again, is how do we customize and tweak your nutritional intake to help with these areas. Again, we just talked about exercise routines. I'm a big fan of, if I've got stress, I'm going to exercise my stress away. Like I said, if I didn't have some of these little injuries that I've dealt with over the last few years, I'd be a 2-time-a-dayer, period. Without missing, because I like it that much. I love what it does to my body and how good it feels. And so it's really important. Your stress management routine. Lori teaches all kinds of amazing stuff with stress management, and they're simple to do. So when I say stress management, and you're a man listening to this, don't think that, oh, somehow I'm going to be lesser of a man and all that kind of stuff. That's a bunch of hoo-ha. There are times when I have some stress that occurs. I've pulled over on the road where I'm going to an appointment. I've literally pulled over and done breath work. Yeah, 4, 7, 8. There's a couple of different methods. I like the 4, 7, and 8. It works well for me. But you have to be willing to do that and let go of the thought that someone might see me, and how is somebody going to act toward me because they see me doing these stress management stuff. Just let all that go. What's important is what you're doing for you and your health. We also, what we like to say is that what we do for people is we help to create a new sustainable lifestyle, because our program is just not one facet of what we do. It's a combination of things. All together is what makes our program so successful compared to other programs available out there. And this is a huge part. Mindset. And if you think because your age is similar to mine, or your parents never talked about it, or no one ever said to you, how do you feel? You need to start asking yourself, how do you feel? How do I feel right now? And so if I know that I might have maybe a response to somebody that's maybe not as nice as it should be, or it's a little on the mean side, or it's a little sarcastic, I try to catch myself, recognize what I'm doing, acknowledge that I'm doing it, and then I'll do something different, which is I'll ask to myself up here in my head, how do I feel right now? Sometimes I'll hear this in my head. It'll say, I feel like an 8-year-old little boy. And then I pause and I realize I'm feeling like a little kid inside. So I'm probably acting like one on the outside. So it helps me to readjust and get centered and back to where I should be. So I love this. If you see this, we have these type of things at home that have little facial expressions. How do I feel? We use this with our kids when they were growing up. We'd say, how does that make you feel? And we'd say, pick an emotion, pick a feeling on there. Angry, agitated, frustrated, guilt, shame, all those. In this case, it's anxious, calm, stressed, excited, sad, happy, bored, and worried. There's others too, but it's really great to have this as a tool that I can reach for and say, how does this make me feel? Maybe I have an interaction at the store. The person behind the counter didn't treat me very well. Or I go to a doctor's office and they're too busy on their phone texting about their weekend. and they're just blowing you off and not treating you very nice. We've all had those experiences. It's rather than get agitated and angry and aggressive toward them, I did kind of take a step back and say, how do I feel right now? Well, I don't feel very worthy. I don't like the way I'm being treated. So it's really important that we use these to identify the stresses. And then once I've identified how I feel, now I can work with that feeling. I'm feeling bored. Okay, well, let's do something different. Right? It's really a great little tool here. Let's talk about prostate. Prostate is big for a lot of people. I personally have benign prostatic hypertrophy. I'm not ashamed to share it. It's very common. This kind of stuff starts after about the age of 40. I think there's a big, there's quite a bit of back and forth out there with certain practitioners that say, oh my gosh, testosterone replacement is bad. And then there's other groups out there that say actually testosterone replacement is good, and if you don't have proper testosterone levels, it's going to make you more susceptible to having prostate issues. In my case, it's not cancerous, it's benign prostatic hypertrophy. I run my PSA test like everybody should. There are a number of supplements that help. I'm very, very dedicated to taking my supplements, and my PSA, I just ran it. And I just ran it for this reason. I've had 3 close friends or relatives that were diagnosed with prostate cancer. Okay. And if you look at all the research out there, it's common. It's typically it's very slow growing, but the medical model can be really aggressive with it. So in each individuals, they've all taken different approaches. One had it taken out completely. One is choosing to have seed implants, radioactive seed implants, and the other is taking the let's wait and see how it goes look. So I ran my PSA because of that, and my PSA was 0.21. They only get concerned when you're above 4.0, so I'm way low. Does it mean I'm not going to get prostate cancer? No, there's still a small percentage. I think it's like 1 or 2% chance. But I take all the supplements and I do all the things necessary to try to keep my prostate as healthy as possible. So as a functional medicine practitioner, I'm also practicing on myself. I do exactly what we tell our clients to do. I practice what I preach. In this case, we want to focus on reducing your inflammation, improving your hormone balance. Okay. If we have elevated estrogens, that can drive prostate problems. And also, we want to support our prostate health through personalized dietary modifications. There are certain foods that I eat, and there's things that I don't eat. I use targeted supplements. There are some targeted supplements, and I'm going to show you a list, okay, that you can also use. And there's also some supplements out there that are kind of, let's just say, they're not up to snuff. Okay, a lot of hype. If you put enough money and hype into advertising, you can sell anything. So I'm really looking for stuff that's got a little bit of research behind it and some also testimonials, because I know if I use something that they say, well, it really doesn't do much, and I use it, but I notice a difference, then that's good enough for me. Okay, so let's look at, here's some of these prostate products right here. Sitosterol consistently improves urinary symptoms related to prostate enlargement. Big. There's a bunch of products out there. They have this in it. You can buy this by itself. You can find it. I'm sure it's on Full Scripts. Okay. This next word is really weird how to say it. It's Pyjim. Helps men with BH or BPH to wake up less at night and pee. If you got prostate, a lot of times people don't know they have anything going on, but they keep waking up at night. They have an urgency to pee at night. Typically, that means you've got enlargement. Okay. So for me, the stuff that I do keeps me from having to get up at night. I get up once, maybe twice, which is fantastic because now I get better sleep. I'm in REM sleep longer, which is allowing my body to recover because I worked out really hard on a daily basis. I need recovery time, and the maximum recovery is going to happen when I'm in deep REM sleep for a longer period of time. Okay. It also will help with a stronger urinary stream and emptying the bladder as well. Sal Palmetto has been around forever. I use this one as well. It reduces the size of the prostate and eases urinary symptoms such as a hard time getting urine to start and a weak stream and an urgent to urinate. Okay. Pumpkin seed. This is fascinating. Pumpkin seed. I eat pumpkin seeds. I get them at not Trader Joe's. I get them at Trader Joe's. Just a bag of these pumpkin seeds, and I'll just use those as my snacks. They help with benign prostatic hypertrophy, BPH symptoms. They shrink the size of the prostate. Pumpkin seeds are more effective along with sal palmetto. So it's better if you're taking the sal palmetto. There's a lot of supplements that have that in it, along with eating your pumpkin seeds. Again, I do them as a snack. And then nettle will help urinary flow and waking a lot at night to pee. So these are some of the components of supplements that are the most important. So as you look for supplements, you want to make sure they have a number of these in there. These were just, I looked up some of the best supplements out there on the market, and this was just a survey that was done. The best overall prostate health supplement, it's life extension. These are all on Fullscript. So if you've got Fullscript, you can go in and find these and take these. You'll see there, let's see, the best prescription subscription prostate health supplement is Persona Prostate Support, best budget friendly. We're always concerned about being budget friendly here. I do what I can to help people from a financial standpoint. Once they've been taking supplements for a while, I try to reduce their dose. Now that we've got full body saturation and they've got some benefit out of it, we want to try to minimize the amount we take for the maximum response. That's Havasu Nutrition Sal Palmetto. The beta sitosterol prostate supplement is also now from beta sitosterol plant sterols. The soft gel prostate health supplements is from Now, NOW, Now Nutrition. Their supplement is really good as well. And just because for fun, I thought I'd throw out the vegan prostate health. In my opinion, vegans have more to worry about than their prostate, right? In my opinion, there's a lot of other stuff going on with vegans, but I don't want to offend anybody. So I put up a vegan prostate product there for them because most men that are vegans, they have prostates too. So something to look for. It's on Fullscripts. Look them up. If you have any questions, contact us. I test everybody's hormones. It's important that we test your hormones. Really important. So as a functional medicine practitioner, we're looking for underlying causes of all these things. We want to look at hormones. We want to do a hormone assessment. We run a panel on our individuals. We do testosterone, 3 different estrogens, progesterone, DHEA. We do an SIGA, which is a gut lining antibody. We're also doing cortisol 4 times a day because cortisol in elevated levels can have a negative impact on a lot of areas, in particular thyroid, and it can affect your sleep patterns. So we do hormone testing because it helps us to find and identify underlying cause and make changes that are going to help you reach optimum health. Again, our treatment approaches are going to include lifestyle modifications. We never say nothing. We never say you could never, ever have that. That's not a lifestyle modification. But if you insist on drinking alcohol, we want you to at least be knowledgeable about what is it doing to me, and maybe I should come up with a solution so that I can use it in moderation. Moderation, key word. Dietary changes, targeted supplements, stress management. So we're going to use all the same techniques. They all are going to affect, those techniques will also affect hormone levels. And in men in particular, we want our testosterone level at a high enough level where I feel good and I feel young and I've got a little pep in my step and I've got some additional sex drive. Hopefully my wife will have some too, but it's important. We don't want our testosterone to aromatize into estrogens because that leads us down a path of some really detrimental scenarios that can happen to us, from increased prostate issues to prostate cancer, but also man boobs and other areas and other issues. Okay. So we test everybody's hormones, and it's really important. If you haven't tested your hormones in a while, it would be a good idea to do that. I run all my tests every year, at least once, sometimes twice. I just ran my big full lab panel, including my testosterone, my estrogens, and my PSA. I want to see where everything's at. Right before my birthday, I do it every year. And sometimes I'll do it mid-year just to I might break down the lab a little bit. So I'm not doing a full panel, but I might go, let me look at my thyroid. how's my thyroid functioning? Because I have Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid autoimmune condition. So I really try to stay on top of that at least twice a year. Running your labs is important. If you haven't had them done in a while, get them done. It's not expensive. The benefits outweigh the cost. Believe me, if we can find something that's going on that you're not aware of, and we can correct it before it gets to this late stage or what we call crisis mode, that's where the medical doctors are going to write you a prescription. We don't want to get to that because it's harder to come back from that. We want to stop it in its tracks. We want to identify it and reverse it now before it gets worse. So run your labs. Heart disease, heart disease, heart disease. You know, heart disease is a chronic degenerative disease. You're not born with heart disease. You acquire it over time. And because we acquire this over time, it's completely reversible. It's amazing what can be done with people. And again, we're not fan friendly with regards to big pharma. They don't like us because we do these things, but we don't care about big pharma. We care about you as an individual and what can we do to help you. I just read some research. This is for women. I know there's no women on here, but share it with your wives. I just read some research a couple weeks ago that specifically found that if we can correct the methylation dysfunction in women, it can extend their life by 4 years. 4 years. That's absolutely huge. So how do we identify if we have methylation dysfunction? We have to run some tests. But think about it. If we run these tests and identify that your wife has got methylation dysfunction and we make some corrective steps, take some corrective actions, change our nutritional plan, making sure we're doing some exercise and stress reduction, all the things that this lifestyle, this new sustainable lifestyle includes, it may extend her life 4 years. How great would that be? You might get to watch your grandkids graduate from college. I think it's amazing. So running your blood test is really important. And what we do with heart disease people is we work really important to work on their nutrition, their stress levels, really important. There was a study out of the University of Minnesota that followed 12,700 clients, and they found that the nutritional intake did not have a negative impact on their lipid panels. Did you hear that? Nutritional intake did not have a negative impact on their lipid panels. So everybody thinks it's what you eat. That's not it. Your liver can make cholesterol out of anything. And if you're one of those people that's been convinced that cholesterol is bad, that's a completely misstatement. You've got to learn and understand and accept that cholesterol is good for me and it drives my brain. 25% of all my cholesterol right now in my entire body, 25% is in my brain. That's how important it is for brain function. So you got to get out of these old wives' tales. I'm going to use that term. These old wives' tales about, oh, you know, don't eat eggs. There's cholesterol. Eggs are phenomenal for us. Okay. Perfect nutrition is in an egg. Absolutely amazing. So, but it's really important if you're dealing with heart disease, maybe you're in the early stages of heart disease, we can reverse that. If you're in the end stages of heart disease, we can help you understand how do I keep it from getting worse and maybe get some reversal. But it's important. You've got to work with somebody that does that kind of stuff, not just somebody who's going to keep adding more high blood pressure pills or they want to put you on a statin. I had somebody in here the other day. This individual is in their early 90s. And they said, can you look at my cholesterol panel? I said, sure. I said, what's going on? They said, oh, my doctor ran my cholesterol panel and he is so angry at me because I don't want to take a statin and he wants me to take a statin. So think about that. This guy wants to give this person a statin in their early 90s. What the hell is wrong with him? Okay. They're in their early 90s. I mean, you think they're going to die of heart disease between 90 and 100? Give me a break. So you just got to be aware of all the real truths out there. We need to help you find the research that shows statin drugs aren't what they're all built up to be in men, because we're talking to men here. Statin drugs are going to reduce your risk factor of cardiovascular and risk factor events, cardiovascular events by 1%. If you knew the list of side effects for statins, you'd be like, is it worth 1%? We can get you 1% by doing some of these natural things that we do in the office. We do it all the time. Okay. Heart disease, digestive health, and brain function. I mentioned earlier how this and this are connected. They're constantly talking back and forth. There's a lot of literature out there that calls your gut the secondary brain. Yeah, because they're communicating. We know that what happens in your gut happens in your brain. And I'm going to give you an example. We see people that have depressive episodes and they come to see us, and some of their biggest complaints are depression or episodes of depression, right? And every one of them is on, if they've gone to their medical doctor, every one of them is on an antidepressant. Terrible drugs, hard to get off of. And here's the big mistake. Every person, I'll say, let me ask you something. When you went to your doctor because you were feeling this way, did he ask you how many times a day do you poop? How big is it? What does it look like? What color is it? Does it float? Does it sink? Is it soft? Is it hard? And they all go, no. I go, well, first off, we're all adults. We can talk about poop. But secondly, those are so important to determine if your depression is coming from your gut. The vast majority of times it does come from your gut. Now, there are some others that don't, but the vast majority of them do. And why is that? Because the number one neurotransmitter that's associated with depression is manufactured in my gut, not my brain, in my gut. So let's say I've got some leaky gut syndrome. Let's say I've got some, I go constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel. Maybe I've got some diverticulitis. Maybe I've got Crohn's. I've got something in my gut. My gut is not functioning where it should be at, say, 100%. It's functioning at 60%, 40%. Well, if that's what's happening and I'm not making enough serotonin, I'm going to go through these episodes of depression. And again, you get on these antidepressants, they're hard to get off of, and they're really horrible for us. So we always are looking for holistic solutions. In our office, we want to clean, cleanse, and repair the gut. We start off with a detox. We got all the organ systems talking and working together. Then we go with probiotics, prebiotics, probiotics. We have a gut healing protocol that we use. Very, very successful, very successful. And part of that is stress reduction. How many people that are listening to this right now have been in a stressful situation and their gut was just queasy and it was turning and rolling over and all that? Everybody's been there. That should tell you, I'm stressed up here and my gut is acting up. I get stressed up here and I have loose stool or diarrhea, right? So they are so connected, and it's so important for your overall health. We've got to get these things functioning. I've had, in the last couple of weeks, I've had at least a dozen people come in, and they ended up on their labs, it showed that they had leaky gut syndrome. Well, if you've got leaky gut syndrome, you've got toxic waste that's supposed to go in the toilet is leaking through the intestinal wall into your bloodstream, and that goes everywhere, including your brain. So we've got to make sure that we address these issues, identify what's going on, and get this connected, because this and this, these two things have to be working together like Siamese twins. That's how important it is. So again, lab testing, really important. Nutrition, sleep, and self-care. So I mentioned a little bit about sleep. Sleep is really important. We can be sleep deprived. A lot of people say, well, I only need 4 hours. And okay, so you might think you only need 4 hours, but your body is saying otherwise, and your labs will show otherwise. So we want to get an adequate amount of sleep, and we want to be in a REM sleep if we can, okay? Nutrition plays a big role in sleep. There's some great supplements out there. Dr. Huberman from Stanford talks about supplements. We use all the same supplements. These guys are amazing. So it's really important, and that we get the proper amount of sleep, and nutrition can play a big role in that. Here's an example. If you eat something sugary within 2 hours of sleep, you're not going to get the same quality of sleep. Yeah, you're not going to get the same quality of sleep, because once I've introduced that into my body, it's going to have an impact on me, and that's going to affect my sleep. Self-care. Men my age struggle with self-care because how we were raised. Very few of us men were raised to speak up and talk about our feelings. How do I feel? That hurt my feelings when you said that. That hurt my feelings when you did that. This is how that made me feel. Being able to express and get that stuff out, because it's toxic when we hold on to it. And it can lead to a lot of other things. It could lead to us abusing alcohol and drugs to self-medicate because we're not expressing our feelings. So self-care is all about what can I do for me? A large part of my self-care is my exercise. It is. You can ask my wife. She'll tell you I'm an exercise nut, but it keeps me sane. It helps me. I get away from all the chaos out there and I focus on just what I'm doing, on me. I'm worthy. I'm deserving of this time to do what I need to do, whether it's going for a hike, going for a walk, meditating, floating in your swimming pool. Okay. Mine happens to be martial arts. So that's my self-care. Telling myself that I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I'm good enough on a daily basis over and over and over and over and over again. Complimenting my wife makes me feel good. I've got a gorgeous wife. And when I compliment her, I can see the look on her face. I love that dress you have on, honey. My goodness. Oh, I love your hair today. By me saying that does two things. One, I feel good. That's self-care for me, but it also makes her feel good. Okay. So it's really important. I just had a birthday and she did an amazing job for my birthday. It was absolutely the best birthday I've had in 64 years. Okay. It was wonderful. And it made me feel good. And I know it made her feel good by helping me feel good. So you got to think of it along those lines. But if you're an older gentleman and you struggle with expressing your feelings because you don't want it to make you less manly and that's not how you grew up, you've got to learn how to do it. It will literally change your life. Looking in the mirror every morning and saying, "Good morning, Gray. I love you. You're lovable. You're worthy. You're deserving, and you are good enough. Now go out there and kick some ass and heal some people." It's amazing what it does for you. It's just a great way to start your day. So we all need to work on our self-care and making sure that we get the time we need. I tell people hobbies are a way for us to center and to just they're just good for us. They just help us feel good about ourselves, and physiologically they're good as well. Mentally they're fantastic. So self-care for us men is really important, and if you're not doing it because of what happened as a child or how you were taught or trained as a child or how you were raised, we've got to make that change. It's time. Take action, make a change. It'll change your life. So I use a customized approach, right? We have mentioned that throughout this whole thing. So let me ask you this: where do you get your information, your health information? If you're on Dr. Google, remember, there are people that are paying to put their information in front of you. So they might not necessarily be giving you the right information. We've all heard the term misinformation. Well, there's a lot of that out there. People will come in and say, "Oh, I saw so-and-so and they told me this." And I'm like, well, that's not what the research says. I literally show research. I give research to people. So where do you get your health information? How accurate is it? Who paid for the study that you read? If it's a special interest group, they're going to get the outcome from the researchers that they're paying for. So keep all of that in mind. And this is a big one. Why are your solutions, or what we've recommended to you as a solution, different than your other friends or your family or your spouse? Because you are an individual. This isn't group work. This is individual work. This is about you, your physiology, your metabolism, your metabolic dysfunction. What do your labs say? What are your tests telling me? It's all about you. It's not about your girlfriend who does Zumba twice a week and lost 30 pounds, and you do Zumba 6 times a week and you can't lose any weight. Doesn't work that way. This is all custom individual stuff. So don't compare yourself to family member and friends. This is your wellness journey. Your wellness journey. We are here as your guide. We're on an African safari. You need a guide. Well, you're on a health journey and you need a guide. And that's what Lori and I do. Okay. That's what we do. This is your health journey. I was on the phone this morning with a young gal who just had a baby 6 months ago, and her partner isn't into what she's doing. So he's over there eating ice cream and bread and all this crap, and she's trying to do her thing. This is her health journey. So she was beating herself up on the phone. I said, stop it. This is your wellness journey. We're going to go at a pace that works for you. Your plate is full of different things than someone else. Okay. She's got a new baby. She's living in an apartment. She's trying to work full time. She's got a partner who's not being very helpful. So again, everybody's journey looks different. So don't compare to others. This is your new sustainable lifestyle. We've got to teach you what to do, why we're doing it, and what are my outcomes. As far as testing goes, I recommend everybody test between 6 and 12 months out. Like I said, I do mine every 6 to 12 months. I just did mine. And so as we age, changes happen. It is what it is. I never thought it would happen to me, but it's happening. My dad used to say to me, yeah, just wait until you get to be my age. And I used to say in my head, oh, shut up, Dad. You don't know nothing. Not me. I'm invincible. Wrong. I'm like everybody else. Now, am I ahead of the game compared to most people? Absolutely. Why? Because I've been doing this for a long time. I'm dedicated. I don't let anything get in the way. I don't make excuses. I don't miss. Do I make mistakes eating sometimes? Of course. Sometimes. My son's coming down this weekend for my birthday. Am I going to have birthday cake? Yes. Am I going to eat a few things I shouldn't? Absolutely. But it's an occasion specific. I'll go right back on Monday and I'll be strict with my eating right away. No problem. Okay. So we know things are going to change as we get older. So let's get ahead and stay ahead. Get ahead and stay ahead. Very important statement by a really important person in my life. I used to use that all the time. Get ahead, stay ahead. So this is what everybody's wellness journey looks like. You can see there's exercise and movement at the top, personalized supplementation. It's always based on your blood labs. Unless I read some research, like I did put out a protocol for the COVID protocol during COVID that was all research and science-based. There's some things right now that are coming out, a lot of things coming out. Dr. McCulloch is absolutely amazing on the spike protein and how it stays in the body. So if you did get the vax and you're interested in a protocol that will help you clean out that vaccine and eliminate those spike proteins, let us know, because I have a protocol that we use. I use it myself. I didn't get the vax, but I still want to make sure that I didn't acquire any spike protein through shedding from somebody that did get vaxxed. And again, vaccines, in my opinion, is up to you. Whatever you do, God bless. It's your choice. It's your body. Detox, clean, cleanse, and repair, professional support. We do have coaching. For those of you who don't know, we do have coaching times. You can acquire coaching hours. You just have to ask Lori about that. It's incredibly beneficial if you've gotten off track and you're sideways and you don't know where to start or what to do. Getting a couple of coaching sessions, or at least one to start, and then maybe doing it every 2 weeks for a month, 2 months, would be really, really helpful getting you back on track. Mindset's huge. I can do it. I can do it. Mindset is gigantic. Daily routines. I'm a daily routine guy. Lori is big time into daily routines. We got to balance our hormones. Stress management is really important. Like I said, I'll literally pull over in the car and do breath work. Yeah, I'm not embarrassed. I don't care. It's important to me. And think about it. If I do breath work, I pull over in the car and do my breath work, I might save other people's lives because now I'm paying attention when I'm driving. I'm not distracted and all discombobulated. Nutrition is huge. Nutrition is huge. 80-20 rule. Very straightforward. So this is your wellness journey. I have a challenge. Woohoo! I got a challenge for you guys, okay? Game on, baby. Here's the challenge. I'm going to tell you my story. Cold water heals. The benefits of cold plunge. So 35, back in in the 1980s, I was training for the Olympics, the Olympic trials. I was in the Olympic trials, but I was training for the 1984 Olympics. I was going to school at LSU. I was a captain on the track team, and I was training really, really hard. And I was a little older than most kids because I'd went in the military before I went to college. But I started doing cold plunge and I didn't have a Scooby-Doo what I was doing. I just recognized one day my hamstrings were really sore because I was training so hard. And they had a couple of different whirlpools. They had a hot one and they had a couple of ones with ice that people with sprained ankles would put their ankle in there and all that. And I just got in waist deep. I got in waist deep. I stayed in as long as I could. And I recognized how much better my recovery was. So I started doing it. I didn't know what it was physiologically. I didn't understand it. Well, if you've been paying attention to the internet at all, cold plunge has been going on now for like a year or two. It's been a big thing. So this past January, I decided I'm going to start doing a cold plunge. So rather than purchase a cold plunge tub, I started using my pool. And during the winter, the water was cold. I mean, there were times when the water was down to 48 degrees, which was cold. And Lori, of course, thought I was nuts. But every morning I'd get up at 4:30, I'd have my coffee, I'd go out to the pool, I'd jump in up to my neck, sit on the steps, and put my timer on and sit in the water neck deep. And it was fantastic. And she'd come out there with her robe on and her slippers and all bundled up, and she'd say, "This is crazy." Well, then the pool started getting warmer and it wasn't cold enough. So I'm like, I got to do something. I didn't want to buy a cold plunge tub. There's some inexpensive different things out there if you want to research this. So what I did was I started using my bathtub, and I'll show you a picture. But here's some of the benefits of cold plunge. So this is a challenge. I challenge anybody that wants to do the cold plunge to research it a little bit and start. In 6 months, I've missed one day. And I only missed that day because we were in a hotel. I had a 12-hour seminar for relicensing I had to sit through, and the bathtub was grungy, or I would have put ice and water in there and jumped in, but I didn't. So I've missed one day in 6 months. I'm still struggling with my shame over that one, but I'll get over it, right? So circulation, this cold plunge increases circulation. It constricts the extremities and pushes the blood to the center of our body, to our core. It's absolutely amazing. It also stimulates and boosts your immune system. Who doesn't want that? It'll increase muscle recovery. So if I exercise, I do my cold plunge. I exercise, I cool off a little bit, I take a shower, and then I cold plunge right after the shower. Okay. So muscle recovery. I've noticed a big difference. This is what I was noticing back at LSU 40 years ago when I was doing it. Muscle recovery. There is some research and there's some advocates that say you should cold plunge before you work out. It's even better. But I do it afterwards because I'm looking to reduce my inflammation. The people that advocate doing it before your exercise, they indicate that research shows that you'll have greater muscle growth, you'll have better gains, all of those things, better strength, better endurance and whatnot. So, but I use it afterwards because I want to reduce my inflammation. It also promotes skin health. Okay. So skin health. And if you guys don't know it, if your wife hasn't shared with you, the men on here, Lori is involved in a product line called Beauty Counter. They have amazing men products. I use them. They're incredible. So if you're interested in beauty products like that, like an exfoliant wash that I use in the shower, and I use a lotion on my face that's really dedicated to face and collagen fibers and all that. It's just amazing stuff. Cold plunge can also improve your mood and your mental well-being. I noticed this one right away. I do my cold plunge every morning before I come to work. So I get in there about 8 o'clock. When I get out of there, my body stays cold until I notice it until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the internal sensation that I have goes away. Now it's changed my thermostat internally. It's changed my thermostat. I used to be hot all the time. I would run the air conditioner here in the office because I was smoking hot constantly. I'm working on clients, I'm wrestling people around. And so once I started cold plunging, I came to the office and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's cold in here. Let's turn that air conditioner up. It's too much. I can't take it. So it definitely had really benefited me from a thermodynamic standpoint for my body. Cold plunge can also increase your energy by stimulating recent and lots of energy. Boost my energy way up. I mean, I am ready to roll when I'm done with this thing. It's absolutely amazing. It can also improve sleep quality, okay, by reducing the body temperature and promoting relaxation. So I do mine in the morning. I don't do it in the afternoon or evening, which you could, but I do mine in the morning. I use it right after my exercise. It also improves lung capacity. Okay. Boosts my mental clarity and focus by increasing my alertness. No question that it does that. It's been really, really wonderful to do. Areas, cold plunge increases tolerance to stress and discomfort. It will help build resilience and discipline. Discipline is huge. Resilience, being in there. You're going to want to get out, but being in there. I do the 4-7-8 breathing now when I'm in there. And then I have some affirmations that I go through as well. But the 4-7-8 breathing has really been helpful. And then, you know what? Once you start doing this, you'll understand what I'm talking about the discipline. And believe me, there are days when I don't want to do it, but I think to myself, it's healthy for me. It's going to help my body heal. It's going to reduce my inflammation, and it's going to make me feel good. I'm going to be in a good mood. I'm going to love my wife instead of be angry and ornery about stupid stuff. It's just fantastic. Here we go. It enhances respiratory function by improving lung capacity and oxygen. It does that. It's amazing. So this is my bathtub. So rather than buy an expensive unit, there's some expensive tubs. They're like $10,000. I didn't want to spend money on that stuff. So I thought, let me first decide that I'm going to do it and see how long I'm going to do it before I ever invest money. So when the pool, my backyard pool got too warm, I put water in this tub's in my bathroom and I used ice. But my gosh, ice bags, they were like $2 a bag and it took about 15 bags of ice. And I don't have an ice maker. So I was like, uh-oh. So I came up with this idea. These bottles of water here that you see, I put them in my freezer. I have a refrigerator in my garage that has a freezer and it's empty. Freezer portion at the top. I lay these in there and they freeze overnight. So what I do in the morning is I put them in here when I get up before I do my Foga. I put them in here and I usually time it now. I got it down to it's about an hour and 20 minutes. So I have to time it. And it gets the water down to, usually it's right at 55 degrees. So I leave it in there. I go do my exercise and all the stuff I'm doing. I come back. I take a shower first. Okay. Then these water bottles that I just refreeze over and over and over again, I take those out. I have a thermometer, a laser thermometer. It tells me 55 degrees. And I put on my headphones. I have some earbuds that are Bluetooth. I put on my meditation brainwave music, and then I get in. Now, no one's around when I do it, so the neighbors might hear me go, woohoo! When I jump in. I did it the other day, and Lori came in and goes, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I got to let that big yell out. It's like, you'll understand if you take on the challenge. So this is what I do. It saved me a lot of money. And it's next year when the water gets cold in our pool, I'll be doing it outside again. We don't have great days, gentlemen. We don't have great days. We make days that are great. That's what we do. So I appreciate everybody for attending. As you can see, I get a little excited about all this stuff. I could go on for hours, but we'll cut you off. It's time for us to go home and have dinner. But I thank you for attending. If you have any questions, just contact us. And I really appreciate each and every one of you men. Men need men in their lives, period. Okay? It's that simple. And I love every one of you guys. Thank you and God bless.
Well, thank you. That was amazing information. I hope everybody really enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed listening to everything. And yes, everything he's saying about the cold plunge, it's true, it's real, it's there. And I hope you accept the challenge. So thank you again, everybody who joined us live and who's watching this recording. If you have any questions, you know how to reach us. Have an amazing day. Bye, everybody.
Let me say one thing. If you're going to do the challenge, you got to do a little research. Google cold, there's stuff everywhere on it. So you understand why you're doing it, what you're doing. So there's some mistakes you can make and how cold the water should be and how long you should be in there. Okay. So It's a lot of information. I couldn't fit it into the talk tonight. So do some research. Just Google, how do I cold plunge? And all kinds of stuff will come up, and read and understand before you decide to jump in a 55-degree tub of water.
And that's really great information. And if we have enough people who are interested in it, that we could, maybe Dr. Rappy could do some videos on how to do it properly.
Yep.
That would be amazing. All right, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much for being here with us, and have a great evening. Bye.